Hi, good morning. So one of the things that I'm doing during this time of staying at home, I've decided I want to use my time as best as possible and come out of this with hopefully some new skills developed. And so I bought a box of pastels. These are, I think, Mungyo gallery pastels. I can't remember if this is like 34 set or 28 or something like that. And I'm just going to start experimenting. This is a very new medium for me, and just doing art in general is kind of like in this capacity is new. I like to doodle. I've always liked to doodle, but I've never actually tried to study it. And so I've been doing that. To be honest, I'm not happy at all with the the outcome of this, but it was still good learning experience for me, and I hesitated in putting this on YouTube because I was like, oh, I just really don't like it. But also, it's like I'm learning. Of course, not everything created is going to be enjoyable to look upon. This was really challenging for me, lots of different, for many different reasons. And I tend to be, I think, a little bit lazy of an artist, in the sense that when I think it's not going to have a good outcome, I'm unwilling to put the time and energy into it. And so there were so many points along the way where I was like, I should just stop doing this because I'm not enjoying how this is turning out. But I persevered and I pushed through it, and I just forced myself to do it because how else am I going to learn? The background was kind of tricky. Everything was kind of tricky. I was really intimidated by the little seeds and how to execute that, because I guess I feel, or at least I don't know this medium well enough and how to best approach it. I have seen people do some really detailed work with oil pastels, but I don't know if that, I feel like I would enjoy doing blockier, chunkier patterns to represent the images, but I don't really know how to do that yet. Needed to add in some green, and I decided to mix the blue and yellow to make it instead of just using a straight up green. I feel like that made it a little more something. I do that again on the skin. I talk about it already, but one of the things I guess I hope is that I can look back at this video someday and think, yeah, that was my beginning, and look how far I've been able to come if I just continue in this trajectory, challenge myself every day, and complete things. This part was probably the most intimidating for me, just because it did have so many different textures and details, and again, I wasn't really sure how to execute that and how detailed to be, or how vague and blocky I should do all the different things inside this strange fruit. Yeah, this was just hard. But of course, like anything that you're trying to learn is going to be difficult. Rome wasn't built in a day. I get really impatient sometimes, and I just want the end results to be something really profound. I want to skip the whole beginner process of figuring it out. I will say I really enjoy working with these pastels. They're really creamy and nicely pigmented. They blend well. They're not streaky. The ones that I had just picked up at a thrift store kind of dried out and they're pretty streaky, and some of them are just very hard to blend. So I appreciate these. And then I tried to do some of the outside flesh, or skin rather, and again, it's was trying to figure out, because there's some green on the skin, and initially I was like, well, maybe I should just do green, but I didn't like how the green looked. I felt like it needed to be more of a mixed, like I actually made the green with blue and yellow, and I think that turned out nicer than if I were to just use a green to represent the green. It gives it a little more, I don't know, lacking the words here. Brain is not functioning. Messing with the background again, because I was like really unhappy with how it was looking, so I felt like maybe I needed to bring in some more colors, kind of like balance everything out and bring some of the flesh tones of the acorn squash out to the background. And then I also ended up doing the same with the inside at some point. I bring in those blues from the background and incorporate them into the flesh of the fruit. I'm glad that I brought in the blues from the background into the center of the fruit. I think that just helped kind of balance it all out a little bit. So really, I didn't use a whole variety of colors for this. It was a very minimal color palette, and I probably could have gotten away with using even less. Maybe that would be a fun challenge to do, is pick like 3 colors and create something with those 3 colors only. I'm sitting outside on the stoop again in the sun. It's early morning. Well, maybe, I don't know what time it is anymore. Maybe it's like 9 o'clock at this point. And the sun is well in the sky. There is not a single cloud, and the sky is so intensely blue right now. It looks like pool water. I have to go into the school today and take care of some things. It'll just be a short trip over, maybe be there for like an hour. It's strange going back into the classroom. It's just so surreal. You know what's really interesting is we have here in Tucson something called rodeo break, and that is the end of February. We have Thursday and Friday off. Came from the days when so many people attended the rodeo here that there would be a lot of absences, so we just made it a holiday. And I really like this part when you peel off the tape. So, anyways, and I remember the day before that rodeo break, my coworker and I was like, it feels so final. I feel like we're like ending the school year and we're about to go to summer, and it was only February that this happened. And then we got back, and only like 2 weeks into March, the school actually does shut down. So it's just really strange because it was final. Anyways, when in doubt, draw it out is my silly motto. I think I find a lot of security in line art. And so when I look upon something that I'm really unhappy with, I tend to put some lines around it. I do this a lot just because it makes me feel like, okay, now it feels a little more complete. I don't know if it's always the best thing to do, but it's just what I tend to do when I am feeling like there needs to be that one final thing, like it's really missing something. So I'm just using a brown Prismacolor pencil. I experimented with a white, and that didn't really work out. So anyways, but yeah, I'm glad that I did that. I like it a little bit more, but still, it's not something I am particularly happy with. But again, good learning experience. And this was also satisfying to do because that just kind of like, I feel like it completes it and makes it more finished. Thank you guys for watching.